Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. I'm so glad you're here. Well, I hope everybody had a great Easter weekend. We had that extra day off from the trading markets. Markets, however, are back open today. What's going on? Well, the Dow's up about 50. The Nasdaq's down about 50. Now, we were down pretty big earlier in the day, but we've come all the way back kind of to the flatline level. All right, so we've had this little rally in the stock market, right? From the beginning of the year, well, just the Nasdaq's up 17%, right? Well, but it's really only 10 stocks. 10 stocks that is responsible for about 80% of the gain. Now, when you have this in the marketplace, what it tells me is that somebody's moving the markets higher. Somebody's coming in and just buying these 10 stocks. Could it be the plunge protection team to move the market higher? Possible. Could it be the hedge funds? Move the market higher, get bigger bonuses. End of the quarter just happened. But I think that this market will come down. I think that this market will revert back to lower levels. Now we got what's known as the new highs and the new lows. Okay, so there's what's interesting. The market's been going up, but the number of new highs is less than the number of new lows. This also tells me that this is kind of a fake rally, that eventually the market will turn and come back down to lower levels. Now, I do think they're going to try to push it up one more time, try to get it up to the February highs, which was about 4170 on the S&P before we come down. I do think we're going to come all the way down, take out the October lows and go lower. And those are about 3,400 on the S&P, so that'll be a pretty big drop. But I do think they're going to try to push it up one more time here before that happens. All right, so let's get over to the real estate market. Now, over the weekend, I read a lot of articles. Man, it's very fascinating to me is the only word I can really think of right here. Okay, so what's going on in the real estate market? Well, apparently the housing contraction that we've been having, well, that's all over. That's all over. The housing recovery has started. Now, this is the National Association of Realtors, their chief economist. This is what he's saying, Lawrence Young. Now, do you think he's invested in the real estate game? Well, yes, he is. His job depends on real estate. His job is to convince you to get out there and buy houses. So he says that we're having a housing market recovery. Now, my first thought would be, what are we recovering from? Look at the housing market is still 40% higher than it was 2 years ago. So what are we recovering from? Yeah, we're down about 10% off of the highs. And, well, maybe that says recovery. But this is just taking the froth out of the market. This market has a lot of downside to play out. But not according to him. We're already in this recovery mode. And the reason we're recovering is because the mortgage rates, they're starting to come down. Well, come down from what? A year ago, they were twice as lower, twice as high as we were a year ago. Prices haven't come down. Interest rates have doubled. Where's the recovery that he's talking about? We haven't had the crash yet. Just getting started. Get some popcorn. Sit back and relax. It's going to take some time to play out. I'll be the first one to admit that. The average, housing crash takes 4 or 5 years before it hits the bottom, before we play out the whole crash. This is just getting started, but he's telling us we're already in recovery mode. Now, the other reason he says we're in recovery mode is because foreclosures are lower than they were before the pandemic started. Well, the reason for that is the government came in and said we can't foreclose on houses. Now, if you ask them, are foreclosures up year over year? Well, yeah, they're up year over year, but they're lower than they were before the pandemic. And he's correct on that. But foreclosures are starting to go up. Now, the reason he says that there aren't going to be any foreclosures is because of this strong economy. The strong economy we're in. Now, I don't see it that way. Now, he's an economist. I'm an economist. I see a very weak economy. I see a lot of job layoffs happening. I see that if we're not already in a recession, we're going to be going into a recession. But he says, oh, no. no foreclosures, strong economy, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. Just doesn't add up. It says that the foreclosure people have been able to avoid foreclosures because they can refi. They can refi their house. Well, here's the thing. If you're in foreclosure, this means you have bad credit because you're not paying your mortgage, right? So your credit's bad. Well, maybe you've heard of this thing called the banking crisis. We're in the middle of a banking crisis. Now, do banks want to give refinance loans to someone that's already in foreclosure, to someone that has bad credit? I don't think they do. There's a banking crisis going on. Now, I know that's been fixed. The banking crisis has completely been resolved. There's no problem anymore. And if you believe that, well, then you're going to believe this article that I'm reading. You see, they're trying to look for the positive in things. And I know sometimes I'm a little too negative, and sometimes I upset people with my negative viewpoints. I think they're just realistic viewpoints. I don't really think that they're that negative, but they like to look for the positive. So here's what they're saying. They're saying that the number of home searches, the people that go on the internet and search for homes, well, those searches are up. And I say, yes, they are. It's like looking at a train wreck. You just can't take your eyes off it. You want to see how much the houses have dropped. That's why people are searching more. Look at now, they also say that the list prices are up year over year. Now, I could list my house for $10 million. It's only worth $1 million, but I could list it for $10 million. So, okay, the list prices are up year over year. But what about the actual sale prices? Oh, well, those are down, but we don't count the actual sales. We just count the list prices. Now, to me, that's fascinating, right? All right, now here's another one that they like to throw out there. Showings. The number of showings are up 20% from the start of the year. Well, yeah, I see that. It was a little bit colder at the start of the year, a little bit warmer. People want to go out. Look at the train wreck. Look at what's going on in the housing market. All right, so there is more showings. I'll give them that one. But there's not more sales. Sales are down 30% from last year. Depending on the area, some areas are down as much as 40%. 40% they're down. Okay, so here's the big thing they got. Okay, this is what they always come out with. Sales have jumped 14%. 14% in the last month. From January to February, they jumped 14%. Now, this is very common in the real estate market. January is usually a slow month, and the activity normally starts to pick up in February. So I'll give them that one also. Okay, sales have jumped 14%. 14%. All right, so let's give them that. Okay, so they got all this positive stuff going, and it's going to be a housing recovery. Now, be very careful here. Don't fall for this propaganda. These were the same articles that they were putting out in, 2008, right before the bottom fell out. They were very positive. You see, these people are paid to lie to you. They're paid to, lie might be a harsh word. They're paid to stretch the truth of what's really happening. What's really happening is the market has never fallen at a more faster rate. Look, in the last 9 months, we're down about 13%. A 13% drop from the high, from the price where Billy Bob got out at. That's what we dropped at. Now, the articles, they go on to say that prices will never fall again. Now, that's fascinating to me. Who does that remind me of? Well, that reminds me of Janet Yellen when she came out, says we're never going to have another financial crisis in her lifetime. Last I checked, she's still alive. Sometimes she looks like she's not, but I think she's still alive. Well, we're having another financial crisis right now, and it's in her lifetime. So she would be wrong on that statement. All right, so a lot of people right now, they're saying that prices will never fall again. Now, here's why. Let me tell you why the housing prices will never fall again. Well, because everyone is locked in at 3%. No one's ever going to sell their house again. The prices will never go down from here. They can only go up, right? Oh, these I don't know who's writing these articles. I'm going to use the word doofus. I think that a doofus wrote this article. Look, I think this person's never sold a house. I don't think this person even knows about the real estate market that's going on. So I'm going to say that a doofus wrote this article because he believes that, prices can only go up from here, that they can't come down because everybody's locked in at 3%. All right, now look at it. A lot of people have 3% mortgages on their house, but there's so many reasons why people sell a house. So many. Okay, look at, right. Okay, so does anybody ever going to die again? No, nobody's going to die, Mike. And everybody's going to live forever now. Well, look, when people die, the house gets sold. It goes to the person's heirs and then it gets sold. That's what happens. Okay, is anybody ever going to lose a job again? Is anybody going to be out of work, unemployed, unable to pay their mortgage? Well, Mike, that's not going to happen in my area, but some areas that might happen. But the person still wouldn't sell his house because he's locked in at 3%. Why would he sell his house? Well, he's not going to sell his house. They're going to take it away from him. It's called a forced sale. The bank's going to come and take it from him because he can't afford to pay his mortgage. Look, does anybody ever get transferred? Does anybody ever move anymore? No, we're just going to stay put because we're locked in at 3% rates, Mike. We're never going to move again. People are in denial as to the fact that prices can never come down again. Yeah, I get that a lot of people are locked in, but it doesn't work that way. Look, houses are sold on the margin, right? All right, let's say you got 100 homes and 2 people have to sell, but there's 0 buyers and all these homes are worth $1 million. Billy Bob got out at $1 million, but 2 people have to sell, but there's no buyers. There's absolutely no buyers. Well, what happens? Well, there's no buyers at $1 million, but they might find the first buyer at $800,000. So he sells at $800,000, right? All right, so that's on the margin, but there's still one more buyer has to get out and there's no one to buy. The next buyer comes in at $600,000. All right, so $600,000. Now, does that mean that your house is still at $1 million when the last 2 sold at $800,000 and $600,000? No, it doesn't. But you see, seller's mindset, oh no, Mike, our houses are still at $1 million. Those comps for $800,000 and $600,000, those don't mean anything because they weren't Billy Bob. Billy Bob got out at the $1 million, so our price is still at $1 million. No, it's on the margin. And when the comparables come in, that is where the housing market is at for your area. Now, a lot of people don't believe that. A lot of people don't believe that house prices in their area are ever going to come down. They're only going to go up. I get the comments all the time. Nobody's selling. There's no inventory, Mike. House prices are going to the moon. We're going up another 20% a year forever. No, it doesn't work like that. Look, I'm an old guy. Houses go up. Houses come down. Stock market goes up. Stock market goes down. Anyone that tells you there's never going to be another financial crisis, I don't think she should be the Secretary of Treasury. I don't think so, right? I don't think so. Anyone that tells you house prices are never going to come down because everybody's locked in at 3%, well, I'll just say that, well, they're a doofus. That's what they are. They're a doofus. They don't understand the markets. And then their house is always going to be worth what Billy Bob got. And maybe they're not going to move. Maybe they're going to stay put. That doesn't mean their house value doesn't drop. Their house value drops. They aren't going to be able to refinance it. They aren't going to be able to pull out equity out of their house. Yes, it's true. It's true. Right now, a lot of people still have equity in their house. Not everybody, though. If you bought in the last year and put 5% down, you're 5% underwater. It costs you another 5% to get out. There's people already with negative equity already. But most people do still have equity in their house. And they will be able to get out if they wanted to sell right now with some money, right? But the mindset starts to change right now. The seller has the mindset, I don't want to get out. I just want to sit back and wait till I can get the price that Billy Bob got. And that's perfectly fine. But you see, they're going to run into a problem. All of a sudden, when the prices start to go down, they're going to start to think, well, maybe I should have sold. Maybe I should have got out. And they're going to start to get real nervous. They're going to have a lot of anxiety because the equity in their house is going to be vanishing. And all of a sudden, when they get close to getting underwater, they're going to panic. And then they're going to dump their house. And then you'll see a lot of inventory on the market. Yes, they're going to be dumping their house even with their 3% mortgage locked in because they're going to see the price going down. People that think the price can only go up, I can't help those people. Look at people that think their house is worth $2 million when it's worth $1 million. I can't sell the house for them. I can't help them. And I do have meetings with sellers like that. I just say, look at, I'm not the right realtor for you. You're going to have to find somebody else that can help you. Somebody else that can talk some sense into you. Somebody else that explains to you that your house actually went down in value, that you don't get to get the price that Billy Bob got. Anyways, I got on a little rant today. It's fun. It's a Monday. Everybody, give me the thumbs up. Why not? It's Monday. Get out there, everybody. Have a great Monday and hit that subscribe button because I want to talk to you again later in the week. Bye-bye now.